Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. My name is Sylvie, and I am going to show you how to put together your mini basketball / moonball kit. So its format is like basketball game, but it can really, you can do anything. It could be get the strawberry through the hoop. So you could have a bunch of strawberries or like fruit salad or cupcakes or whatever. So it doesn't have to be basketball, but we're just playing around with the physics of this game, and it's fun. So this totally comes apart. Everything can come apart, and this folds up. This comes off of here. So it will lay down for travel. And this moves as well. So the idea is that you can set it up, and this rubber band changes the height of the hoop. And depending on where your springboard is on this piece, this is a fulcrum, and this is a lever, and the elastic band gives it power. And this is all adjustable too. So there are a bunch of grooves cut in here, and this is for your rubber bands to sit in so your game still lies flat. And you can adjust this fulcrum further from and closer to the net, the hoop. And same with this, you can move your, so you can change it around. And I thought that y'all could also make different, there are 2 shooting spots, but you can make other balls that are heavier, like out of tin foil or out of tape, or maybe you have some little bouncy balls. This game is probably good to play in a corner because the balls are gonna go everywhere. Oh, so close. Yay! So it's pretty fun. We have all these. I'll show you what is in your kit. So what you have is a dowel. This is 5/8 of an inch. That is the post for our hoop. And then this is your game board. And it has all these holes drilled in it, lines cut in it. Words, figure out the right words. And then here are all your parts. You might want to put these in a bowl because some of these things will roll like the ping pong balls. So I'm going to grab the ping pong balls out of here, and then I can dump this out. I'll put my ping pong balls back in my bag. So what you have are 2 different blocks with holes in them. One has 4 holes drilled in it, and one has 1 hole in the back. Then you have a shorter piece of the 5/8 dowel for your fulcrum, your hoop, and your backboard. And this has the nails that you'll need and the 1 hinge for this, and an assortment of rubber bands. So what you'll want to do first is remember to put your safety glasses on, especially for hammering. And for this project, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver. Other than that, you just need your hammer and whatever you want to decorate with. So when I decorated, I made my backboard like outer space with a planet. And on the floor of my game, in professional basketball and in college or high school basketball, a lot of times a logo is on the floor. So my team is the Peaches. My dad and my sister 20 years ago made paper doll cutouts of ladies basketball teams, and they were the Peaches and the Bel Airs, and I thought that was so great. So now every team, whenever there's 2 teams, I want them to be the Peaches and the Bel Airs. Usually I'm the Peaches. So we have all of our parts, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with sanding. So this MDF, you don't want to, we want to minimize sanding this MDF, but the corners are pretty sharp. So I'm just going to take my blue sandpaper, which is rougher, fold it into thirds, and I'm just very, like 2 passes. And this is just so it's more comfortable in your hands when you carry it. And one spot that we do want to sand are these outside grooves, because if not, your rubber bands might snap. Elastic is funny. If it gets one little tear, you know, it's just like popping a balloon, a rubber band. They get one little micro tear and they pop. So we want to do all of these and then these. And so I just squeeze this, and you just have to do a tiny bit. Great. And I want to go around these corners, just because this can be a little sharp. And if you notice it being sharp, just go get your sandpaper, and it's called knocking it down just a little bit. So here are all our parts. And I sanded this one a little bit for you because this plywood, when you drill holes in it, you can get some yucky splinters from it, and I don't want y'all to, I want to minimize that. So you can sand this a little more. I didn't sand the ends. I mainly sanded the holes and the sides because that's where more of the splinters are. So you want to make this part comfortable for your hand because this is your shooting piece. So I just want to sand the edges. And I'm just hitting those corners like this. Boop, boop. Corner, corner, done. This one has some fuzzies. I'll get it off. Do the corner, corner, corner. And this also has, be careful of these fuzzies. I want to sand this. And for this inside, just go around. Sanded. I'm just going to sand the edges of this.
And this has a little bit, I'm just going to lightly sand it. You don't have to, but mine has a couple of, you just want to make it smooth. Mine has some fibers sticking out. Okay, one more piece.
Okay, so first, what we can do is attach This square, the one with the 4 holes, goes right here, and I traced it. Mine, it has some fuzzies on the back, so I just want to sand that and blow it off, because we're going to glue and nail it. So you want to get your glue container and your nails. And there's a couple different kinds of nails. So for this, I'm going to put my, my hinge back in here. You have 5 of these wire nails with a head and 2 of these finish nails. So common nails have a head, and it's wide and it's flat, and finish nails don't have a head. And this is, it's just what they're called. So we're going to use, really these will only bite into the wood a little bit. They're only that much taller, but they're really holding it while the glue dries, and they'll add some strength. So you get your glue spreader. I'm going to put the side that looks nicer up. And I'll spread some glue on here. Glue, glue, glue. I'm going to hold it right there. I'm going to get my hammer. And it'll go right through this block, so it's easy to line up, so you don't have to do a lot of hammering before it hits this second material, which it will hold tight to. So I'm going to line it up, hammer. I'm going to go to this opposite one. Okay, so now we have one in. And then what we want to do is put your dowel in here and mark with a pencil. This next block goes right here, and we are going to use this nail hole and one of the longer nails and hammer this in. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that this dowel is short enough so that it doesn't hold these 2 surfaces separate. These 2 surfaces are what's going to be sort of what holds your backboard up. So I have my pencil line, and I'm going to draw another mark just a little bit down from it. Okay? The thickness, the width of a nail, around that wide. And that's where I want to line this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on my dowel and spill it on my game, because I don't want to put glue in here, because I don't want to get it all over this. So now I'll find my line, I'll back this up to my line, and I'll put my nail in. Boom. And I'll clean up the glue that's right here. Great. Yay. So now we have one more thing to put together. I'm going to put this nail back in here. I've got one other nail. Put it back in there. I send you some extras. So now what we're going to do, this is probably one of the harder parts. We want to get this hinge. We want to put it on like this. So with a hinge, you have, this is the center of the hinge is called the barrel. And we want the barrel facing, if it's laying flat, we want the barrel up. So I think it would be easier to put it on this one first. So I've pre-drilled these holes for you, because it can be a little, it will help with alignment. You just get to put it in. You don't have to measure or mark. And sometimes these fall all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I just have one screw. I just pushed it in the hole. And when you're using a screwdriver, you need to push down some to keep the Phillips head in the X or plus sign, but the threads, the spiral on it is really awesome. It will dig in there. It is, threads are very strong. It will draw itself into the wood. So I don't mean to cover that. So what I do is you hold this here, and you don't want to have your fingers really close while you're pushing down in case you slip, okay? You want to keep your hands safe. And when it's seated in here, you stop. You don't want to over tighten it. You'll strip. It's called stripping it out. So this, what I would do is I would lay this over a table like this. And then I can stand that up. And I'll hold this, and I'm just pushing it. And it'll stay for a minute until I can get this all lined up. And I'll just push it just a little bit, and then I just have to find this. And see, my hands are helping each other. This one helps keep this, you know, I won't be able to, this has to be one straight line. If I'm going sideways, the tip of this isn't gonna get into the Phillips head of the screw. So I can do this, and if my hand is up here, if I use both hands on the screwdriver, I won't hit my hand because it won't be in the way. So that's a good trick. Hello. So now, that. Dun, 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 dun. This just goes here. This, we just need our wah-wah little ball. And so this just stays in here. Like if you run around with it, it'll fall out. So when you're walking with it, be careful or just take it out. So I was thinking that this you could take to the park if it's sunny and warm where you live, or you could bring it to a table or put it in a corner, and then it can collapse for storage. So the easiest way to get this in here is to put your dowel through it, and what I'm doing is I'm going to pull this on the other side, and I have it wrapped around my finger, and I'm going to have it turn this corner, and then it loops around the other one, and then I can move it more easily, right? It can go to that one, and if you want to move it, you know, you can. Right? So I'll do that again. So the easiest way is to thread this through, you know, you could put it on here and then thread it backwards. Thread this through. And then pull it around. And I'm using my pinky to help it, or you can use your other hand like that, or you can ask an adult or a friend for help. And so you want it to sit in these grooves just so everything sits flat in your game. So these will be a little bit, it's a little tricky to move them, but you'll get the hang of it. So I could have it there. Right? But sometimes it's easiest just to take it out and realign it instead of, these are pretty hard to grab out of here. And then I want one rubber band on here. So I put it on, I twist around, right? So I'll do that again. So what I want to do is I'm putting it on here, pull, turn, turn, turn. And this is a super easy height adjustment. La la la. Okay. And now I have sent a bunch of different rubber bands. These rubber bands can go across here. And it's good to wear your safety glasses when you're playing with rubber bands, just because they can go flying and it's on accident. So I can put this around here. So what I'm doing is I'm crossing over and going back. And you can experiment with how tight the rubber band is. I want to move this back, maybe. I'm going to put 2 rubber bands on here. But you can play with how tight the rubber bands are, how thick they are, and what kind of, how far, how hard or easy it is to make baskets. And this distance or this distance, you know, like you just get to play with how far things will shoot. Doink, doink. And that's that. So I can't wait to see what kind of games y'all make. Another thing I wanted to say is you can have totally different rules than basketball. You can get 10 points from this one and 5 points from this shooter, or you don't have to have points, or you can make up your own rules, like you need to try and get as many baskets as you can in a minute, right? Or you can try to shoot from the side, right? So we just want to be careful shooting the ping pong ball. Let the people in the room know what you're doing in case you hit them with it on accident. And I think it might be fun to play in a corner because you'll have to do less chasing of the balls. And you can draw on these with a permanent marker, but ask your adult for the permanent marker and if you can use it. So y'all can decorate. You can paint this whole thing or draw with markers. Same with this backboard. You can decorate the whole thing, or you don't have to decorate any of it. You can write a story on here, or just draw pictures, or a maze, and make it 2 games in 1. So yeah, here's the tabletop mini Moonball / basketball. Go Peaches! Okay, thanks everybody. Remember to be kind and to be helpful.